been born on the eastern part of Germany before the wall came down. So I was 7 when the wall came down. So I grew up most of my life in the reunited Germany. And yeah, I've been working in the global SAP outsourcing industry for almost 20 years now. I started to work after university. I studied computer science. I started to work for Hewlett-Packard, which then moved to Hewlett-Packard Enterprises. And yeah, and I was working there in the global SAP outsourcing, as I said. And I had different roles. I started in deep technical support, third level SAP basis, so really technical. And then, yeah, held numerous positions from management, pre-sales, but also advisory roles. So I worked for some of the largest customers in the world, actually, and did a lot of pre-sales also, as I said, a lot of technical solution architecture. And I think I have a very good understanding how professional outsourcing works and what needs to be done to, make it smooth and a good experience for the client.
And this is interesting, right? From a purely a pure technical background, like I can relate to you totally. Like for us graduating from a very technical degree, as we move on to business stuff, we realize where we add value. So it's an interesting story about you. At some stage, you realized your services are needed in the place where it's needed most. So what got you into that journey?
Um, yeah, I mean, it's just you're growing as time goes by, obviously, and some of the stuff was external because, as I said, I started in SAP technical DTS support, but HP Global Management decided that they want to move the technical resources more towards near and offshore. So, which meant in Germany we were so-called delivery leads, which meant we were the single point of contact for the customer. We spoke the same language, and we had like our customers were mainly in Central Europe. And we were then managing teams in near and offshore, which comes with its own unique challenges, especially, like intercultural stuff, which is not easy to navigate sometimes. And obviously, like even in countries in Central or Eastern Europe, where the countries are very close to each other, but still you have different cultures, right? So, and that was challenging, but once you figure that out, it also makes more like it makes more sense, and you also understand people better. And I think one of the really main things for me is to always keep a student mindset. Regardless how much I know in a certain area or something, there's always someone who might know more. And I'm a, let's say, eternal learner. So I think that's very important in every aspect of our life.
This is beautifully said, right? So it's like as we have found out, the most important skill that anyone can have is understanding us, that is the fellow human. So and that is powerful wherever we are located in the world. And like what you said, what we do is simple but not easy, and it's the human aspects that make it interesting and our jobs interesting. So, in terms of your progress in life, especially with what you do, would you be able to share any of the great achievements or success stories that you remember?
Yeah, definitely. So, like, Um, where do I start? So, maybe something which I didn't say at the beginning, like for the last 6 years, I've been self-employed. I have my own company. So I went from one of the largest companies in the world to being self-employed. But I take all that, knowledge with me. And yeah, some of the stories, like in one of the last projects, what I did was I came in more as a technical consultant. But in the end, I was advising C-level management to make a transformation, like to move systems from in-house to a professional outsourcer during a S/4HANA Greenfield implementation. So, and like a S/4HANA Greenfield implementation is anyway complex, and a lot of dependencies. But we managed to really do it in a, let's say, smooth way. And obviously, there were a lot of political things to navigate. But in the end, the migration itself was really, really successful. And maybe another story. Um, Also, one of the clients I had during my self-employment was that they were moving their really, really large BW system. They did a migration from Oracle to SAP HANA. And it was also challenging because it was like a very important system for the customer. And between the project management and like the senior level management and the project sponsors and then the technical team, there was always a bit of a, yeah, they didn't really understand each other or didn't want to. And if you have like one or two key resources who are like critical for the success of the project, and those resources don't really want to cooperate, it's tricky, So I also like played a little bit of a mediator in between. So in the end, like we finished the project in time, in budget, everyone was happy. But in between, there are always challenges which you have to navigate, obviously, right?
And that's interesting, right? So the situations that you explained, it's like changing tires on a moving car. So, doing an outsourcing while you're doing it in SAP Greenfield. So hats off to you. So it's not easy for as someone who has previously walked the path, and what you've done is quite amazing, and the results. And if you have to do something like that, it is for a reason, and what you have achieved is quite amazing. So well done. Yeah. And
Thank you.
yeah, continuing on with what you do for a living now as a company. So would you be able to share something that's relevant for the audience?
Of course. So I think one of my big strengths is to bridge between technical resources and management. So like sometimes between CFO or even CIO, where they speak different languages because obviously a CFO has financial objectives versus a CIO needs to make sure that the IT is supporting the business, and they are always seen as a cost center only. So that was also for another client where I did this before, but I think I see myself almost like either the glue in between those people, or like the oil which keeps the system running, And I think if you are able to do that, those projects are much more likely to succeed, right? Because in the end, we're all in the same boat. We like both the clients and also, like the internal consultants, the external consultants, everyone wants to have a project which is successful, right? So we have to work together, and it's not like one person is rowing against all the others, or like everyone is just not in sync, because like you have to somehow make sure that you use the knowledge and like the experience of those people to the fullest in the end, right?
That is again, you've nailed it really well, right? So you are a translator or a connector that brings the ecosystem together. So it's like saying, a spider web that connects multiple things and brings things together. So with what you do, as you say, people speak different languages. The stakeholders speak a different language to even multiple stakeholders speak different languages by themselves. So the secret sauce that you bring to the table is the connection, which helps the organization decide the path forward. So with choosing to do what you do, what drew you into this field of work?
Um, oh, good question. I mean, as I said, I studied computer science. I was never much into programming. Like that was something which would really, really bore me out. But like also in private life, I did a lot of team sports. So I really like connection. Like I like to connect to people, to talk to people, and also bring out the best in people as well, right? Because I think everyone has their own unique talents, and sometimes it's just not, like if they're maybe not in the right position, but then you have to find out how you can actually unlock this potential of that person, right? So and I think that's actually something I really, really enjoy, to unlock people's potential. And in the end, as I said, like everyone benefits, because this person is happier, the project is succeeding, which means also the stakeholders or the project sponsors are happy. And in the end also, like in the end, I mean, we're doing IT, right? So usually IT is supporting the business, that the business needs to, like run and I don't know, like sell soda or something. And that's what we're here to do. Like nobody's doing IT just because of IT. And if we can really, like or if I can help those companies to really unlock the full potential. This is something which obviously like it also gives you a good credibility, but also the clients are happy in the end.
And this is something I am fascinated by what you do, or what draws us in this scheme of things, right? So one is the connections, and also by making businesses better by just doing our jobs. We are helping organizations, and we are helping the ecosystem, and overall, if we help each other, the world is becoming a better place through what we do and what we facilitate. So this is a beautiful draw card, as you say. Like, let's do things well so businesses can do what they're made to do. So, and that's something very, very beautiful. So with your business, what problems would you like in our ecosystem? If someone wants to talk to you, what would they talk to you on?
I think one of the biggest topics right now in the SAP space is the 2027 deadline and the migration to S/4HANA, where I mean, you see a lot of marketing, you see a lot of sales, and SAP also pushing hard for it, obviously, because clients have to move, right? And I think one of my specialties would be to help clients to really like do a phase zero check and to make like a objective decision, like to know before we go into a project, like for instance, what does rise for sub mean? Not rise with sub mean. Are there any other options, like because some clients might not really like the cloud push from SAP. And it really depends on the client itself. There might be clients where rise with sub is the perfect example, but especially for, like medium-sized or even large corporations where they have ERP systems which have been running for like, I don't know, 15, 20 years, highly customized. It's a large project, right? And you're investing like 7-figure, 8-figure, like millions of US dollars or Australian dollars. And obviously you don't want those projects to fail, because it's not only financially a problem, but also in terms of reputation sometimes, some companies not being able to sell their stuff. And I mean, we've seen it several times, right? So I think this is something where I could really help clients also to understand what do they sign up for when they sign a RISE contract. For instance, I was also a special matter expert for the Rocky metrics for the roles responsibilities document, which initially was called SAP HAC, HANA Enterprise Cloud. And I think it was in 2014 or 2015. So I worked on the first version. That's why I really recognize all the, 60 or a lot of those 1600 entries in the PDF document. And that's something, if as a client, you're not experienced with that, you are, like you're not on the same level as the vendor. And if you know like which points in this roles and responsibilities metrics are important. There are like, I don't know, maybe a handful where the vendor can always refer to that one to not, for instance, pay a penalty or to say, yeah, but it's written here. And that's where you have to be very, very careful and you have to be knowledgeable. And like I did it similar with in another project before for client who moved from in-house to professional outsourcing or managed service provider. That was before Rise with SAP. And exactly the same thing, they also had their roles and responsibilities metrics. And there were like 3 things on the list where I could immediately spot and like I advised the client saying, be very careful with those 3 things and make sure you put it in the contract. And then, like to really make sure that you're not ending up in a situation where you have maybe a financial loss or something happens, you have an incident, critical one, and then the vendor says, no, it's written here, you signed it, so yeah.
And you bring a beautiful point, right? So phase zero experts or transformation experts, people like us, we do it for a living. And for most clients, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. And we want to make sure we are helping the clients in the right way, so we increase the chance of success for those clients. So with especially your expertise, Frank, because you've been in that path before, you walked that path before, or you've seen the evolution of how RISE is as a baby. So it's like when it was at its infancy, you've been there, you've shaped it, and it's like you bring a lot to the table. So I'm sure the community will benefit from your knowledge. So it is very, very important, and especially as we go through the deadlines that is happening around us, I think your expertise is very valuable for the community. So coming to this part of it, how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, I mean, either they can reach out to you if they're already in contact with you, or they can also reach out on LinkedIn, and like just send me a connection request, and then they can send me either an DM, or they can even book on LinkedIn. They can book an appointment directly, or they can also visit our website top42.ch, where CH does not stand for China. Important. CH stands for Confederatio Helvetia, which is Switzerland. So CN is China. So some people don't know. That's why I'm emphasizing on this one. Yeah, but I think those are the main points where they can like reach me. Or also, if they go on my profile, my email address is also in my about section. So those are all ways how clients can approach me.
That's wonderful. So I'm sure what you've said is very, very beneficial for the client and listeners listening to this. If you want someone who can walk the path with you and help you make the decision that is right for you, please don't hesitate to reach Frank. Direct message him or direct message me. We will make sure you get the advice that you need to be able to make the decision. So people like us working together, we are committed to making the world a better place, one relationship at a time. So thank you for listening. And Frank, thank you very much for your time today. It was wonderful to.
Thank you very much, Judith, for having me. And yeah, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much.